Okay, now I finally got all 8 strings on. It took a long time, I made mistakes. Tuning the mandolin just isn't that fun. There's a whole bunch of balance things. If you have to keep the bridge in place and you put the strings on and you're trying to pull these in, you have to hold these things down in a bunch of different places so that the loops don't fall off and this doesn't come out and this doesn't pop around. It's going to take some practice. Holding it down in the right places. The important things again, put one on each side, inside to the outside in both directions, twist so that it stays inside, so that the strings come from the inside and around. That's what you want. Put the bridge in, center it. It takes some time to center it. I put it in, I centered it, then I tightened the strings and it shifted over. I moved it back, I tightened it, and I battled with it basically until I had a bunch of strings on. I haven't tightened these strings all the way. They got a lot of way to go to be tuned. The reason is I want to have some play here. I want to be able to move the bridge till it's in the right place, till I know everything's right. I want to be able to move the strings in and out. You don't want to tighten any of these strings all that far, just so that it starts to not just be a buzz. Like this one's, that one maybe I didn't tighten quite enough. Isn't really a note yet. But that's the idea. All that's left to me now is to pull out my tuner and to tune each string. And then finally, all of these stupid things, that's what your wire snips are for. You only snip them. I don't snip them yet. I snip them when I'm done. As if something happens, they come out or something. If you snip them, you've destroyed them and that string is gone. If you leave them now, if something goes wrong, you might be able to redo that string. Okay, so next I'm going to pull out my tuner, a handy dandy tuner. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to tune these 2 strings to G, these 2 to D, these 2 to A, these 2 to E. And all I do with my tuner is I turn it on, I hit the string I want, and then I keep turning this until I get it to where I want it to be. I don't recommend it any other way for the beginner to tune from straight. Everybody would have to tune the first G with this, just about. So may as well go get one of these. Alright, so what's left is to tune and snip. I think that's it. Alright. As I'm tuning this, I realize there's probably something else you want to know. When you tune these strings, I'm watching my tuner plucking a string. You don't really want to tune, especially the E string, all the way to E the first time. You just want to tune it up somewhere close. So right now I'm at a C. I'm still a ways, but I think I'm going to stop there. If you over tighten the E strings, they can pop. What you want to do is get everything kind of close. So now I'm onto the A string. Right now it's almost an octave too low. So it's a C, now it's at an E, now it's a G, and I think I'm going to stop. Bring the other one up, the other A string. So they're kind of close. I'm going to double check my bridge, hoping it isn't tilting. Sometimes if you tighten the strings it'll start to tilt and it'll actually fall on you. Make sure that it doesn't do that. Look at the bridge, make sure it's okay. Move on to the next strings. So do all 8 of them close. You could probably take the E's to the E if you want, or the G's, I'm sorry. You can take the G's to the G if you want. That one's pretty much a G. They're not going to snap on you. That's the way you want to do it. Slowly build yourself up. Okay, a bit more time has passed. I have somewhat tuned the mandolin. Somewhat. The reason why I'm coming back is doing this to remind you something else. While you're tuning your mandolin at first, when you're tuning these strings up, they're going to take some time to stretch. They're not going to settle in right away. So you tune the G up to a G after you kind of get them all close, and you tune the G all the way up to G, and by the time you get the E tuned up, the G's drop down again. Maybe to an F sharp, maybe even further. And that will happen for a while. And the E strings in particular will take maybe many hours, days to settle in completely, so that they don't just keep changing. Not quite there, but that's the idea. So you keep fighting with it, but actually, let me say that differently. Don't fight with it. Don't take them above E. Don't take the E past E very much. You can break the string that way, and you don't want to put too much tension on the neck. That's another thing here. You don't want to leave your mandolin without strings for very long. They're made to have the tension. That's what they're for. You leave the neck without strings for a while, and it will start to bow back the other way. You don't want to do that. So be gentle. Be aware of where the bridge is. Start all over if you need to. Don't cut the ends of the string off until you're done, like I've done here. And that's all it takes. It's not a short process. It's not fun, but playing's fun.